G'day guys, Benny Wise here again. Last video I did on waxing, I had a friend ask me to do another one about the actual equipment that I use and sort of dive a little bit deeper into that. So we're going to do that right now. We'll start with how do you clean the board. As I said in the video, I use a bronze brush and I just sort of scrape it out. Just again, this is a Swix bronze brush. You can use whatever one you want. As you can see, it's bronze in the middle. It's got the softer bristles on the outside that just sort of helps remove what you're getting there. You can use like steel rotos, things like that. I don't generally use that unless I'm really at a high level contest. When I was at the Olympics, I would Olympic test events, I would take all the wax out of the base with a steel roto brush, and then I would start again every night, and I'd do about 7 layers of wax on every board every night. So yeah, I was up to 2 in the morning doing waxing. It was awesome. But anyway, start with your bronze brush. You're just trying to get all the dirt and material out before you start. You know, you can buy special Swix, cloths and to brush all that dirt off once you get it there. Toilet paper works just as good, or any kind of towel or anything, as long as it's clean. And again, for the average person, it doesn't matter. You can just wax your board without cleaning it. I use this stuff. This is from Swix. I put it in a jar. It's a base cleaner. It's super toxic. Only go to this if you know what you're doing, because you kind of need to know. But this stuff here from Swix, their base cleaner, will pull everything out of the base, absolutely everything, and then you have a fresh slate to start with. So then the next thing you're going to do is always before you wax, you should use either a gummy stone. This is kind of like a softer stone here, and you should put it on your edges and take all your burrs off. You could do that before you clean your base. I usually do it before or after, it doesn't really matter. But you want to take all the burrs off your edges so you're not scratching up your iron. But you can use this. There's stones on the market right now. These ones, you wet them. It's just like what you'd use to sharpen a knife or anything like that. You're working with steel. One side's definitely coarse. The other side is less coarse. So you start with the coarse side, get it, and you want to run it along the edge until you can't hear a noise anymore of as it's chopping through all the burrs and things like that. So another way you can use it is these Swix has these stones. These are pretty beat up. I've used them a lot, but you have a coarse, then you have a medium and a fine. Start with your coarse, go to your medium, then your fine, but also you use these more at the finish. So I'll talk about that next. Again, take your burrs off with this, save your files from getting all damaged. You can use this as well. So next, once you've taken all the burrs off, you want to edge your board, and everyone's like, oh, you take the edges off and you do this and you do that, and I'm a gibber, I ride rails, I don't need sharp edges. Total baloney, total crap in my mind. I used to coach Brandon Davis. Spencer Whiting is the gimbal god now. He's found his own way, but those guys' boards, I used to sharpen their edges every night. I did a 1-on-1, a 1 base bevel, so that it comes up like this, and then I did a 1 on the side wall as well, so it's not 90, it's a 1 degree, 1-on-1. I can do another video on that. Anyone wants comments on that? I always sharpen their edges, because if you're going to hit a jump or come into a rail and you want to set an edge, you need an edge to jump off to get a trick done. So anyone who tells you just grind it down, I think it's a waste of a great snowboard edge that they're designed to be ridden with. If I was doing street rails or things like that, for sure, take the grinder there. The street rails, the metal can be softer than the edge of the snowboard. So you want to make sure you have no edges in that situation. If you're spinning 270s in a double kinks, yeah, for sure, take the edges off. But if you're the average Joe riding through, riding boxes, doing whatever, have an edge on your board. You're going to have so much more fun when you're riding around the mountain. The board's not going to feel like it slides away from you all the time. So get yourself a good edge guide. This is an old red one. This one, I don't even think they make this anymore. But you get a file. The first one is a bastard cut. I use that a lot because usually riders have really beat up edges and you just take a ton of material off with a bastard and it's just easier. And then you go into your medium and your fine. But again, you just slot your file in there. Whoop, this way. You tighten it down, both sides. There's multiple ones on the market. This one, I love this one. I've used this for years. I don't know if you guys can see there, but it has the degrees on there. So whenever I get a board tuned at a shop, I know what it comes out at, if it has a 1 degree bevel or not. So you put that on the edge and you drag it across and you get an edge. Once you've made that edge, you want to then use your stones, or these, and you want to start with your coarse and you want to polish that edge. You're really polishing it or honing the steel, and you're like dragging it across, and you can use it just with your hands. Like I hold mine like this so I can get it on the edge and run it along. This board's just been freshly tuned, so there's no buzz and you can't hear anything. But if you can hear that nice clean sound, that's a good thing, right? So then you go to your fine, and look, I used to spend, you know, for a Chloe Kim or for a Matty Mastro or Judd Hankus or, you know, Kent Callister, you know, all these guys that are at the highest level, I would spend time and I would make this edge shine. You can make it like a mirror. Kenny Nolt, great waxer, taught me, like, you can make this thing shine. Emily Arthur, all these other athletes that I would do this for so that they can pick up speed. But your average Joe, you just hit it with a coarse one, it's fine. Or hit it with the file and don't do anything else. That's totally fine too. Or you're fine. Or then run your gummy stone over. But if you have done all of this, that's great. Your board's going to go super fast. You're going to be super stoked. But yeah, then just finish off with your stone, run it over. It's not going to make it blunt, but sharp edges are awesome. Like, I love sharp edges. They just make you ride better. So why wouldn't you? Once you've done all your edges, board's clean, everything like that, you're going to get into your waxing. I don't know if I have any here, but I do have the Wen stuff. It's a base wax. It says it on there. I just got this from the guys there. Thank you. But this is base wax. If you put base wax in, I did a little video on the liquid hot box before. You should always put a base wax in first. And again, if you just, this is like next level stuff. If you just want to have fun and snowboard, just throw whatever wax on there. But you put a base wax in, scrape it, buff it like I did in the video before. And then you start adding the rest of your waxes. Again, my friend asked me to show everyone. So I would do a base wax on a snowboard, then I would do CH. I showed that in the video before. CH is just your regular wax. It's pretty cheap to buy. Honestly, any wax will work. But this is the first layer that I would do for the pros. And then I would follow it with a low fluoro, depending on the situation. You really don't need to get above LF for the average person. But you can if you really want to get techie. And honestly, they just ban fluoros for competitions and things like that. They're not good for the environment. Swix has made some changes. Wend was already leading the game. They were already doing environmentally friendly waxes, so thank you, Wend. But this stuff goes fast. And then you add that with this high fluoro, you're going to go even faster. And then if you have some dirty snow, some old snow, some man-made snow, that kind of thing, you start to move into black wolves and things like that. Again, this is so expensive that most people wouldn't even buy it. I think this little brick here is like 200 bucks or something like that. I only use this for the tops. And again, right now, we can't use it anymore. It's banned. So just wanted to show you anyway, sort of where we're at with waxes, that kind of thing. So now you got the wax on the board. You got your scraper. Look, I spend so much money on scrapers. I actually have a machine that sharpens my scrapers. Why? Because I don't like to be scraping boards all night long. Once your scraper is blunt, it's a pain in the ass to be able to scrape a board. So I like fresh ones, and I sharpen mine a lot. A little cheater method is that it starts getting blunt and it's not taking any material off. Get in there and just sort of, if you have a sharp edge, of course, run your scraper along the edge like that, and that's going to take all that wax that's built up on there. It's going to take a little bit of the plastic off there as well. It's going to make another edge that, as you can see, just doing that. This is a pretty blunt scraper. I just did that and took some material off this board. So that's your scraper. Scraper, it makes your life easy. Make sure you spend some money on a scraper, at least get a scraper sharpener. The next thing is, well, screwdriver. I left this out. Always take your bindings off before you wax, if you want your board not to have dimples from your screws, because once you heat this base up while you're waxing, the pressure of that screw is going to pull on the core and pull on the base, and you're going to get all these dimples on your board. So always use your screwdriver to take the bindings off. Once you've done that, then you're into scraping and buffing. So you scraped, you have a sharp scraper, and then you buff. Again, I use the Swix finish brush. There's horsehair, there's nylon, there's blah blah blah, and everyone will tell you what is better. And again, this is all for the high-end style, but for you as the average punter, or average snowboarder, I should say, I like doing this. What it does, it just gives the board a nice shine, and it makes it faster. I like going fast. Who doesn't, right? I like getting across the flats when everybody else is unstrapping and pushing, and I'm cruising. It's because I use this stuff that I just outlined here. I don't want to push. I'm lazy these days. So buff your board when you finish with this. You know, back in the day, I used to use an old Scotch Brite Brillo pad. Yeah, you can use that as well. It does just as great a job. But you know, for the high end, I go and buy this. These are pretty cheap. You'll have it forever. So go and get yourself one. If you're high end, again, me as well. If you want to be lazy, you can use the old roto brush. Two that I like to use. They're both Swix. There's other companies that, you know, you can use whatever you want. This is horsehair, and this is nylon. Horsehair will, if you have structure, pull it out, do sorts of stuff. I can do another video on structure if you guys want to know about that and how to deal with it and why it's amazing. You should get your board structured at all time. I mentioned it on the DC board, how it came out of the shop with came out of the factory with a really good structure. But yeah, either or, I tell you what, just go buy one of these. This is more for, you know, if you know what you're doing. So go get yourself a little nylon brush. You get yourself a little handle. This just clips on very easy to a drill right here. You just clip it on like this. And then you can draw it across like this. And you can already start to see, I ran it through that crap there, I shouldn't have, but you can start to see it just buffs up and polishes it nicely, pulls any extra material off your board that you have, especially if you have a structure. You don't want wax in the structure or it won't work. So yeah, that's the tools of the trade. thanks for listening. Again, Benny Wise. Hit me with some comments on some stuff that you guys want to know about snowboarding or products. And yeah, thanks a lot.